All right. The Dungeon by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The Dungeon. And this place our fathers made for. Once retake. The Dungeon. And this place our forefathers made for man. This is the process of our love and wisdom to each poor brother who offends against us. Most innocent, perhaps, and what if guilty? Is this the only cure? Merciful God, each poor and natural outlet shriveled up by ignorance and parching poverty. His energies roll back upon his heart and stagnate and corrupt, till changed to poison. They break out on him like a loathsome plague spot. Then we call in our pampered mountebanks, and this is their best cure, uncomforted, in friendless solitude, groaning in tears and savage faces at the clanking hour, seen through the steams and vapor of his dungeon by the lamb's dismal twilight. So he lies circled with evil till his very soul unmolds its essence, hopelessly deformed by sights of evermore deformity. With other ministrations thou, O nature, healest thy wandering and distempered child. Thou pourest on him thy soft influences, thy sunny hues, fair forms and breathing sweets, thy melodies of woods and winds and waters, till he relents and can no more endure to be a jarring and dissonant thing amid this general dance and minstrelsy. His but bursting into tears wins back his day, his angry spirit healed and harmonized by the benignant torch of love and beauty. It's a very strong poem. Coleridge had this fascination with masculine, stupid, quasi cheesy, sentimental themes that he himself did not really embody. And I think a lot of young men are like that. A lot of young men are sort of juvenile and they long for quote unquote better days, and they basically they're just men children. But it's worth noting that an incredible poem can be written revolving around that sort of ideology or expanding upon that ideology. Um, and much of Coleridge was a benefactor in that regard to the ideology of men children. Well, I'm packing up my room. Doesn't look like much, but it'll be nice to document it for a change since I'll probably never be in this building again. It looks like a bunch of shit right now. Really just a fucking mess. But it's because I'm boxing up a lot of books. And I'm throwing everything around into a pile. I kind of wish I had decorated before I took these. But it's kind of better to see the aftermath in a sense. To see the final form of every object, its last sort of position in the room, which to me says more about the object than where I put it on one particular day or another. Anyway, let's see. Where else? Over here, on the wall, there's a bookshelf. That's the best one. Goofy junk on the bookshelf. A fishing pole, never used. A hat that I never went fishing with. Orange bow tie with orange suspenders I've used about once. Trivial things that represent a trivial lifestyle. And they're going to be discarded if they aren't already. Or not discarded, but they're going to be packed in a chaotic, treacherous fashion. All very haphazard. All right, 5 minutes? What else can I show you? That horn over there is a drinking horn. True medieval Viking drinking horn. That yellow. That orange is also not clothing this time. That orange is a laundry bag. A bag from Target. But that orange is a printmaking block for lino cut. It's not a wood block, although I have some over there on the same bench. There are a few wood cutting tools, and there's a pyrography soldering iron for a belt I'm making with using some leather crafting tools and aspiring to sort of greater leather crafting purposes. Actually, it's a project that isn't leather a belt. It's cooler than that. It's a guitar strap. It's not really the dimensions of a belt. It's too wide on the the Y coordinate. Anyway, blank walls. Funny thing about this room is there's a window to the neighbor, the other roommate, and it doesn't go outside; it just goes to their room. So on that side, there's a wardrobe or a dresser covering it. And that's about it. I did some drawings. This one was kind of anatomical. I like to make it look like expressionist. Like it's just sort of German expressionism. It's kind of in my head a lot somehow between the lines, subversively, subverting my better tendencies. It's always this melange of expressionist figure drawings. I'm trying to move out of that and do more traditional, academic approach, classical, I guess, neoclassical, and romantic as far as the medieval world is concerned. Anyway, so that's the first poem from this book. I'm trying to read every poem from this book, or just about. And there's another book I want to read called 101 Great American Poets. Both of those are up due for this channel. And the first one, of course, was The Dungeon by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, because my affairs reading these poems makes me feel like I'm trapped in a fucking dungeon, but I see the beauty anyway. I read the poems, see the beauty anyway, even though it feels like I'm a prisoner in a dungeon. So, one of the best, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I hope you enjoyed the poem.